Hi, everybody. This is the Baseball Head, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the People's Champion. Your host, the Head, and welcome back to the Baseball Head. Hopefully, you like this video and hit that subscribe button. So, we're going to talk about Trevor Bauer. Got a little news for you, a possible update on his situation. And it might not turn out so well for MLB in particular. This is from FoxNews.com. Trevor Bauer, out of MLB since 2021, says he may have no other choice but to sue the league. Bauer served a 184-game suspension after sexual assault allegations. Next Friday marks exactly 3 years since Trevor Bauer last appeared in an MLB game. Then a member of the Los Angeles Dodgers, he tossed 6 innings of 2-run ball while striking out 8 batters, recording the win. 2 days later, he was hit with sexual assault allegations, which eventually led to a 324-game suspension, the equivalent of 2 seasons, which was reduced to 184 for violating the league's joint domestic violence, sexual assault, and child abuse policy. After an all-star season in Japan last year, Bowers dominated the Mexican League, pitching to a 3.37 ERA with a 1.02 whip and 12.3 Ks per 9 innings. However, he remains unsigned. Bill James, often credited for being a founding father of analytics in baseball, said on X that the league may now be in a position where if they don't actively encourage someone to sign Bauer, they could be setting themselves up to lose a $1 billion lawsuit. The 2020 National League Cy Young Award winner was asked his thoughts on the possibility and didn't exactly rule it out. Quote, "I'd really prefer not to go this route, but if I continue being kept out of baseball as I currently am, I may have no other choice," Bauer said. "Let's hope it doesn't come to that. And I'm allowed to return to my career that was taken from me over provably false allegations that never held any merit to begin with." Perhaps Bauer is simply just frustrated at the lack of an MLB opportunity. He has even said he'd play for the league minimum, but he has yet to put pen on paper. "Anyone that's willing to sit down with me and listen. I'd like to play the second half of my career in a better way than I played the first half," Bauer told Fox News Digital back in January. "I'd like to be an example that you can make mistakes, recognize them, adjust, and then be better in the future. I think that's something us as humans have to do and should be doing constantly. Bauer's maintained his innocence, settling with one accuser while another is facing 16 years in prison after being charged with fraud following the faking of a pregnancy and asking Bauer for money for an abortion. Bauer and Lindsey Hill, accused the pitcher of beating and sexually abusing her in 2021, settled their case late last year. Bauer revealed texts from Hill who said that Bauer would be her next victim, among other damning messages. Hill has since said that MLB has more evidence of Bauer's alleged misconduct. Well, that's a weird way to end an article, I must say. They don't get into it, they just end the article right there. But Trevor Bauer is a very complicated figure in baseball. He has had a lot of issues with his teammates. He's had a lot of issues with his teams that he's played on, specifically the Guardians, who were the Indians when he played for them. He was basically traded because he showed up his Hall of Fame manager, Terry Francona, and was basically traded the next day to the Reds, and the Reds at the time were a last-place team. He's had very strange behavior on the field at times, as well as that incident. We won't get into that. But we know the famous story of him not getting along with Garrett Cole of the Yankees when they played in college together. Trevor Bauer has a long history of not getting along with his teammates as far back as high school. And we know that these sexual episodes were going on when he just got the contract. Now, my opinion on him is that you stay away from him. But he does have a right to work. Not only that, but he has a right to be viewed as innocent until proven guilty. The one thing I have a major problem with, which I have not talked about, is how Major League Baseball and the union have this carte blanche to basically suspend anybody that falls under this policy. So if, for instance, you're a player and a spouse or a girlfriend can accuse you of doing something, you didn't do it, Major League Baseball will hit you with a suspension very, very quickly. And if they like you, kind of turn a blind eye to it, or they don't slap you with a 2-year suspension. There were players that, for instance, Marcelo Ozuna, who was accused and was, I guess, had some jail time of beating his wife or girlfriend or whatever, and Major League Baseball didn't give him only 10 games, 20 games suspension. And he was arrested. Trevor Bauer was never arrested for any of these things. And why did he get a 2-year suspension? Now, it's up to a team if they want to sign him. I wouldn't want him being signed by the Mets. There's too much baggage here. Aside from what he was accused of, which obviously he settled with some people and they moved on with all this stuff. But I will say this, Bauer has a right to work. He has a right, if he's on a high level still, to play in the major leagues. Now, if a team doesn't want to sign him, that's up to them. But if he can prove that there's been collusion by the teams not to sign him, that's another story. If some team says we don't think he can pitch anymore, just based on how he's pitched in Mexico and Japan, we don't think he could do it here in the majors. That's up to them. But if he can prove there was collusion, that's a different story. And baseball has a history of collusion, specifically in the 80s and a lot of other instances as well. Obviously, with the Negro Leagues, that's why we have Negro Leagues, because the teams and management ownership refused to hire any African Americans for their teams. Well, let me know what you think about this video. Of course, please subscribe, and I'll see you later.